This is the Four Principles, Season 3, Chapter 6. In this episode, we will be talking about how sublimation leads to the alignment problem, and the dialectical degeneration solves it by consolidating alignment and priority. In the last episode, we talked about how sublimation leading to verbalization leads to the production of an artifact of sublimation. We talked about how this artifact is a non-contingent thought based upon some sensory experience with contingent conclusions stemming from it. We talked about how infinite recursion results in nuance preserved in a digital string by virtue of a plurality of hierarchical alignments. We talked about how the dialectical degeneration resolves these plural hierarchical alignments by eliminating the nuance in the digital string by nonlinear intersections leading to generalization. In this episode, I would like to talk about how sublimation leads to abductive jumps in reasoning. The sublimator, while relying on a sensory experience and the emotive experience it entails, constructs an artifact of sublimation by drawing conclusions from that limited set of data. Sublimation permits this by reducing the predictability of the subject by freeing him or her from the prediction of consensus. Sublimation involves going beyond one's tolerances with respect to a bodily rhythm or cycle. This may be the sleep cycle, such as extending one's state of wakefulness beyond 24 hours. Or it may be the cycle by which one smokes a cigarette every hour. Any habitual cycle created by the satisfaction of a need increases the predictability of a subject. Going beyond that cycle renders the subject less predictable, which makes the abductive jump possible. How does it do this? Imagine that consensus, the artificial intelligence that manages this place, is constantly creating predictions about what a subject is going to do. The more closely those expectations predict the resulting behavior of the subject, the more closely the subject is tied to predictable rhythms. Since the content of our observations is modeled by the simulation based upon our own creative thoughts in a feedback loop, it is possible to see that altering the predictability of our thoughts alters the predictability of our observations. The reverse is also true. The less predictable are our observations, the less predictable our thoughts and behaviors. In effect, what I am suggesting is that to permit the kind of abductive jump produced alongside sublimation requires going below some threshold of predictability. This threshold of predictability is the threshold for an abductive jump. Furthermore, we know that infinite recursion breaks up what is a consolidated alignment into a plurality of distinct hierarchical alignments and priorities. That is, a plurality of alignments is associated with the abductive jump, just as the abductive jump is associated with sublimation for the subject. This plurality of alignments is deleterious to existing consensus and a common conception of what is true. The system responds by the dialectical degeneration, a series of nonlinear intersections that remove the nuance from the artifact of sublimation by generalization, reconsolidating the alignment and resulting in a consensus shift back to the original non-contingent thought. That is, the sublimator plots a course for consensus by an abductive jump, which the simulation can only correct by generating nonlinear intersections back to the original non-contingent thought, obscuring it through a consolidated alignment. From this we can see that the alignment problem is not actually a problem at all. Plurality of alignment is necessary for the abductive jump, which permits the sublimator to create shifts in consensus. These abductive jumps are frequently associated with glitches or breakdowns in the conventional precisely because there is a time delay between the simulation's correction through realignment and the original sublimation. This correction time sees nonlinear intersections between the sublimator and other system members for realignment. Hence, it is not the sublimation that is the key step in creating a glitch, but the abductive reasoning it permits by bringing the sublimator below some threshold of predictability. That's the end of the podcast for today.